Okay, let's do this. What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're talking about the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection from Morphe. I'm only gonna be using one palette today. I've been trying to figure out how I want to do this video because I really like the way Allie Glines did it, where she did a tutorial with each palette. So she had 4 tutorials in one. It was like a 41-minute video though, and I know that I'm very long-winded, so it'd probably be even longer for me. So I think I'm just going to break it up into different videos for each palette. Also, I've been watching a lot of reviews of this palette, and I did put a lot of the videos in my YouTubers to check out playlist because there are so many videos out there and so many people who put a lot of hard work and energy into the reviews, like testing and stuff. So make sure you go check them out in my playlist. I do that all the time. I try to share and shout other people out, and if I find a good video, I try to share it. But honestly, I've been contemplating even keeping the palettes. I haven't touched them. I've opened them and looked at them and stuff, but I haven't swatched them. I haven't played with them yet. This is a true blue first impression. I wanted to get my initial thoughts with you guys on camera. I've seen mixed applications, I've seen mixed reviews. $49 is a lot of money to waste, but I'm just gonna go ahead and suck it up, and if it's a loss, it's a loss. So in case you can't tell, I'm a little salty right now. I can't be one of those people that just sits down and puts on this fake facade of positivity and, oh, rainbows and unicorns, let's support all women. I can't do it. It's not about being positive or negative. It's about sharing your opinions and sharing your thoughts, because we all have them, and if you're on my channel, then you want to hear my opinion, because it clearly says in the title, rant. So, you know, don't bash me for having an opinion because you clicked on the video. So if you don't want to hear somebody's opinion, I'll go ahead and give you a few seconds to click off. Just go ahead and go. But let's just go ahead and talk about my thoughts about this whole situation and about the release. You may not care, and I will have timestamps linked below if you want to just go ahead and skip to the first impression. So this is Jaclyn Hill's second collaboration with Morphe, her first being her original Jaclyn Hill palette in 2017. And these are basically the ones that didn't make the cut. The shadows in these palettes are basically the contenders that just didn't make the cut for her final Jaclyn Hill palette that was released last year. So that in itself kind of already put a little salty taste in my mouth, and there's nothing wrong with that because the shadows are beautiful. The shades are absolutely gorgeous, but it was just the fact that there wasn't any heart put into it. To me, it was just like saying, okay, we want to pop out something to make some money. We want to do a big release right now, and we don't have time to do it. So let's just go ahead and throw together the ones that didn't make the cut. Now, I will say, just a quick little summary of my thoughts on the original Jaclyn Hill palette. I did not like it. I did have it for a while, and I returned it. And it was just one of those things where I can't really pinpoint why I didn't like it, aside from the fact that there were just way too many duplicates in the palette. Like they all look the same on the eyes, in my opinion. And I felt like they were almost too pigmented to the point where they just kind of muddied together, and there was no differentiation between the shadows. And this whole trend of a super creamy, buttery, hella pigmented eyeshadow being the best, like the all and be all, I'm so over it, because just because an eyeshadow is super pigmented and really creamy, that doesn't mean that it's better. Like the older Morphe formulation for eyeshadows was killer. They weren't the best at swatches. I mean, you could swatch them. It's not like they were bad at swatching or anything. But you know, they had a little bit of dryness to them, like a little bit of stiffness, but that made them easier to work with. Like I love the older Morphe eyeshadow palettes. I think they're so much better than what they have now. It seems like once Jaclyn Hill came into the mix, they just kind of started changing up their image and their brand and their formulas and everything. I don't know what kind of influence she had, but she had some kind of influence. So back in June, she did her video where she was swatching them, and she was raving about them like she was just, and they looked really pretty. Like they looked phenomenal. And she was talking about how amazing they were, how they were pressed differently. They were a little bit better than her original formula. I'm just summing up what she said. Less than a month later, after they sent out the PR packages and people started making videos talking about the patchiness and the blending issues, and they decided to recall all the ones that they had produced, apparently there was a pressing issue. Now, I'm not a manufacturer. I'm not a chemist. I don't know anything about eyeshadow formulation and how, like, the whole production process of eyeshadows and stuff. I don't know how it works. I've tried to look it up. There's not a whole lot of information out there on it, but it seems like I've watched a lot of videos from like new to old, like people comparing the old formulas to the new formulas, like people that got the PR packages and stuff. And it seems to me like it is a completely different formulation. And I don't understand how just pressing it differently can completely change the formula, because, you know, people are saying that they blend better. Some of them are more pigmented. I don't know how all of that can be changed just simply by pressing them differently, because I thought an eyeshadow formula as an eyeshadow formula, and then you press it, and it's either finely milled, it's either chunky or, you know, soft, whatever. I don't see how that really affects the formula. I could be completely wrong. If you can correct me, if you are credible, if you're a credible source and can correct me, then please do so in the comments below. Keep in mind, this is not the first time that something from Jaclyn Hill's has been recalled. And there's a little clip that I want you guys to listen to that really struck me the wrong way. This is from Jaclyn Hill's first tutorial, like her, I think it's like a get ready with me where she was spilling the tea or whatever. It was her first and only tutorial with this collection. Another thing that I think is very weird about it is that she only has one tutorial with this collection. It's like she doesn't have to do any work anymore. It's like, just put her name on it and you can sell it.
But anyways, in that video, a lot of people were asking me, like, are these the new and improved shadows? You know, are these the good ones? Hold on, let me blow that off. And yes, of course, I would never do a tutorial with, like, crappy shadows. Like, no, I would never do that.
So she called her own palette crappy shadows. So with me, you know, I've just completely lost trust in Jaclyn Hill. When she did her first video with the swatches and stuff, it was about, oh my god, these are the best eyeshadows and they're so amazing, oh my god. And now, because people pointed out flaws in it, they're crappy eyeshadows. And also just the fact that it seems at this point, it's just buying her time before her makeup brand actually comes out. So I feel like this was just a quick way to make a buck. And, you know, like I said earlier, it's like she doesn't even have to do work for advertising the palettes. She doesn't even have to use them anymore. Like, you know, what happened to people using their products and showing you tutorials and how they work and all that stuff? Like, she did a swatch video and one tutorial. Let's just go ahead and crack it open. So this was $49. So on the Morphe website, you can get the entire set, the vault, for $49, or you can get these individual palettes for $15, which I think is an amazing price. Her original palette was $35, I believe, or $38. So I think this is an amazing price because, I mean, the size of this palette is the size of most Anastasia palettes or Too Faced, you know, expensive palettes, and they're running for like $40, $42, $45. You can also find these at Ulta, but you can only buy them individually. You can't buy them as a set. Here's what it looks like. I think the packaging is very cute. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the packaging just because I feel like packaging just isn't that important, and I feel like we really critique packaging when it comes to YouTubers. I don't really know why, but it kind of looks like a DVD or like a VHS set. Like, I don't know. It's a very cool little vibe. And then there is this little ribbon here that makes it look like an ornament. I don't really understand what the purpose of that is. If you know, then please let me know. But let's show each of the palettes. So here's what the packaging looks like. It's very, very pretty packaging. The first one is Dark Magic. So I love the size of the packaging. I feel like this is a lot more travel friendly than the big like 35 pan palettes. You do get a mirror in here. It's a very good, you know, just clear mirror. So here's Dark Magic. This is the one that's more smoky. You know, you got some teals, green tones. There's a lot of green tones within these palettes, like olive or army green tones. This one's really, really smoky. Now, I will say something I've seen across the board is that the shadows are very dark. They're very richly pigmented. So if you have a fair complexion, you might have a harder time blending these out. I'm not sure. We're gonna test that theory out myself, but that is a good thing for deeper skin tones because that means that any skin tone can wear these because of the pigmentation. There are a lot of eyeshadows that are just way too lightly pigmented for deeper skin tones and they can't make it work. It just looks too ashy. So I feel like that's a really good thing. That's a really good plus. So the next one is Ring the Alarm. So this one's more warm tones and there is a mixture of shimmers and mattes in each one, obviously. So this one has some folly, like rosy plum tones in here. You got some golds. And then Armed and Gorgeous. I think this will be my favorite one. I think this is pretty much everyone's favorite one across the board. This one is like a perfect summer to fall transition palette. So these are just very fall tone. You know, you have your mustards, your oranges, your golds, you got that green. And then the last one is Bling Boss. So this one is the purpley fuchsia pink undertone one. I think this is also really, really pretty and very up my alley. But I do want you guys to keep this in mind before we get started with the actual review and first impression. Everyone's personal preferences are different. Everyone looks for different things. Like I said, a lot of people like a super creamy formula. I like a more dry formula. I think it's a lot easier. And also, everyone's difficulty level, like everyone's skill level, will also affect their opinion on a product because I'm more of like an intermediate level when it comes to eyeshadow blending. I'm not the best at eyeshadows. So, you know, you can't compare reviews. You can't compare people's thoughts and opinions on something because everyone's coming from a different place. So you can't say, well, you didn't like it, but this person did, so maybe you're wrong. It doesn't work like that. So I think it is time to get started. So like I said, I'm going to completely take out any kind of opinions or bias I could possibly have. I'm just going to review the eyeshadows for what they are. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with my Essence Olive Sage eyeshadow base, which is my all-time favorite primer. I use it for everything. It always works. And set that with a skin tone colored eyeshadow, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm actually gonna add a little dot of a lighter concealer. This is the ColourPop concealer in the shade Fair 08, just to kind of brighten it a little bit. But just to give you a little background information, I usually never have any kind of creasing or fading issues with my eyeshadows. I will say with any kind of purple or red undertone eyeshadows, I think it's a red pigment that I usually have a problem with. I usually get oxidation. For some reason, it just doesn't work well with the chemistry in my eyelids. I don't really know why. That's what I will be looking for in the purple palette. So I think I'm actually gonna go in with the Bling Boss palette, which is the more purpley undertone one. And I do wanna try these e.l.f. Line and Define eye tapes. You guys know, if you watch my channel, I'm very messy with eyeshadow, and I'm trying to get a little more clean, a little more, you know, mess-free with stuff. So we're gonna try some of these today. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go in first with Hush Hush, which is a matte, muted kind of taupey lavender. I'm gonna use this as my crease shade. Like I said, I haven't touched these, I haven't swatched them, nothing. And I may do swatches on my Instagram. I don't think I'm gonna include them in this video or any other video, just because I feel like swatches, I'm so over swatches. In my opinion, swatches are just outdated. But if you guys do wanna see them, let me know, and I will post some on my Instagram. It'll just give you a little incentive to follow me. But what I am gathering from these shadows is that they're a lot more buildable. So if you want a really deep, rich shade, you just need to build them up, which I do appreciate, because I'd rather build up than start out with too much. Okay, so that shade worked out really, really pretty. It's very soft. It blended out really nice. It's definitely buildable. It does start off a lot lighter. I'm gonna take Rockstar, which is that matte kind of grapey purple. So a lot of products picking up on my brush, so I am tapping off the excess each time. And I'm just gonna start off by applying this in the outer V and then working my way up through the crease. And I am holding my brush kind of more down like this so that it blends more downward instead of up, because I do want to make sure that transition shows. But yeah, definitely buildable, but I'm not having any blending issues or anything. I'm gonna go back with that fluffy brush I used for the transition and just kind of lightly go over that, and then go over the point where it kind of starts fading inward right here. Okay, so there's that shade. Very, very pretty, blended out, super nice. I think I'm gonna go in with the red shade now. This is called Sparks. Now I will say there's not a lot of debris or kick up or anything on the palette. There's not a lot coming off into the pan. Let's kind of stream this through the crease a little bit. And this might be where we start seeing issues. Because like I said, anything that's got a red pigment in it just doesn't work well on me. I've also seen people complain about layering, that like where they're also pigmented, that it's kind of hard to layer them up. But so far, I'm not having a big issue with that. Now I've seen that the shimmers work beautifully. It seems like they build up really, really nice. No issues there, and they look really good even when they're dry. Yeah, so far, not really having any issues. And I may cut this out, like I may do a cut crease or something, just because I'm trying to perfect it. And I want to know how, even though I don't really like that style. I feel like it's very drag queenish. So this side always looks better for me than this side. I don't know what it is. Like, it's so weird too, because this is the side that I'm crossing over on. Like, my hands are more awkwardly positioned. But this side's more hooded and more like blunt than this side. So yeah, this side's a little bit more lifted. I just don't like working on my right. The right side sucks. So I'm gonna go in with a light layer of that Hush Hush shade again, which is that, you know, transition shade, that muted lavender taupe. And just go right above this. Literally just gonna halo it around the top, just to make sure we keep it light. I do want to swatch the shimmers in here just because I'm trying to figure out what I want to use. I want to create something a little bit different than what I've seen. So there's all the shimmers in the palette. I'm kind of drawn to this one right here. It kind of has, excuse me, can we focus? I think that shade is Ballsy right here, and I haven't seen anyone use that one, and that's the one that my eye is drawn to, and I think it's a really, really pretty unique shade. I kind of want to attempt a cut crease. Like I said, just to master it. Let's just let today be just a little practice day so you guys can come with me and learn with me. Honestly, I don't have a good like cut crease brush. Like I don't have a good concealer brush. I'm not a beauty guru. So I'm gonna go into that shade that I was talking about, Ballsy, which is a really pretty like duochrome, like purpley gold shade. It looks really, really cool. So I'm gonna take that on a dry brush and just pack that over where I applied the concealer. And I did hear someone say that the shimmery shades don't work very well on top of concealer. I don't really know why that would be. So there's what it looks like dry. It's very pretty. It definitely looks more lackluster on the eye. So I'm gonna try wetting it. But again, it might be because of the concealer. I'm not really sure. So I've got some on my brush. Okay, not really performing much differently, honestly. So I think I'm just gonna kind of lay it down and get it up close to the edge, like the cutting edge. And then I'm gonna pack it on my finger to see if that works better, because I've seen a lot of people have success with that. Okay, so now that I've got it placed, I'm gonna go in my finger, and it actually doesn't even swatch all that great, but you know, I don't really have a complaint with that. This definitely is working. It's just not as vivid and as pretty as what I thought it would be. Okay, so there's that shade. It is very, very unique. I really do like that shade. This is one of those that would be so pretty with any kind of look. Like if you have like a mustardy yellow where it's got that gold undertone, it'll look really pretty with that. It looks really smooth. It doesn't really look chunky or anything. Now I'm gonna go in on a tiny brush and pick up a little bit more of that red shade that we used earlier. And I'm just gonna stream this along the top edge of the cut. So right there, just to kind of push back down any kind of shimmer that we got in the crease, and also just to clean up the edge a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go in with Pizzazz right here, which is a cranberry shimmery shade. And I think I'm just gonna put that like where the shimmery shade that we have on right now and the outer V shade meet. So like right here, just to kind of fade the two together. So I'm just gonna put this right here where the two meet, just kind of wiggle my brush right there. And like I said, we're just trying to use another shade as well. And I feel like this cranberry shade will kind of tie into that red that we have in the crease. Let's go into Mystic right here, which is a dark matte eggplant purple. Let's see, I'm just gonna put this, not really in the outer V, just in the outer socket of the crease. Like not bringing it down to where we put that shimmery cranberry, but just right above it, just to kind of push the crease back, because I do have some extra skin right there where it's a little hooded. So I just kind of want to push that back into my head. Okay, no blending issues so far. It's working really well. I don't see any oxidation. And then I'm just gonna go back in with the brush that I used, like the little tiny crease brush that we used, with no extra product, and just blend really precisely right above that. Actually, let's go in with Hush Hush, which is that first shade we used in the crease, the taupey lavender. I'm just gonna get some, this is a Morphe M506 brush. This is really good if you have a hood or if you have really small eyes and you can't really use a big fluffy brush. It's really good for kind of haloing your eyes some more without, you know, fusing all the shadows together, because that's the problem that I've had, because I use really big fluffy brushes and I just feel like it just kind of fuses everything together and there's no differentiation. And then with the big fluffy brush that I used earlier, I'm gonna take this really precisely. Actually, let's see, Sinead does this. I'm gonna try pinching my brush where it kind of becomes like a fan, and just blend kind of where the brow bone is, honestly. Just kind of blending above all of it, but I'm not blending over it because I don't want it to fuse together. Look at me learning and whatnot. Let's see if we can find a brow bone highlight in here. I like a matte ivory vanilla kind of shade, and she's not very good with providing that. Like, she didn't provide that in the original palette. I don't like a shimmery brow bone highlight. I don't think it's very complimentary on me. So I'm gonna go into the Dark Magic palette just to try to use these palettes. I'm gonna go into the shade Poof, which is the only matte ivory skin tone kind of shade that would match me. So let's see if this will, I don't know if this will be bright enough. I usually like a pretty bright highlight. It's not too bad. I will say I am really digging this tape from e.l.f. I've been wanting it for a really long time. I forgot who I first heard talk about it, but they're only $2 and you get like, what is it? You get 40 strips in here. I got like 8 packs of these because I knew that I'd like them, and I think it's really gonna help me to like figure out where I need to start and stop, because that's my biggest thing. Like, I don't bring it out far enough sometimes, and then sometimes I bring it out too far, and like I said, I'm just really messy. So I think right now it looks really, really good, and I don't see any fallout. I see some glitter flakes that have fallen out. It looks like from this that ballsy shade, but other than that, I'm very, very pleasantly surprised so far. So let's see one more thing before I go off camera, because I want to try to finish up the entire top eyelid before we go on. I'm gonna go into Bling Bling, which is that really pretty shimmery kind of warm pink. And another thing that I really like about this collection, because I feel like I kind of talked more about what I didn't like about the whole process and not really what I did like. I really like I said, that each one's a color story, so that there's really no guessing, because my biggest thing with the original Jaclyn Hill palette was that those pops of color in there, I didn't know how to pair them with the other like neutral shades in there. I'm not very artsy, I'm not very creative when it comes to that. You know, looking at these palettes, you know that all these shades are going to work well together, like they're going to pair well together, and you don't really have to think a whole lot about it. I don't like to think. Another thing I really like about this collection is that there are different tones in here, because I feel like with the original, it was just nothing but warm tones. So I'm just popping this in the inner corner and kind of, I'm gonna drag this along the lower lash line a little bit too, but I'm also kind of meeting it up, like going around the edge of the cut, just to blend it into that purpley shade on the eyelid. So there's that. It didn't brighten up the look a whole lot. Let's try wetting the brush. Alright guys, so I'm back the rest of my face on. It's time to finish up the lower lash line. As far as the eyelid goes, I'm really digging it. I'm very happy with the application. There was no fallout on my face, which is killer. I'm very pleased with this so far. So let's go back into the lower lash line now. So like I said, I think I'm going to go into Gem, which is that shimmery, more like neonish purple, and it matches my shirt perfectly. So I'm going to try to apply it dry first. So I'm just going to smudge this along the lower lash line, and if it gets in the waterline, that's okay. So there's what it's looking like when it's dry. It definitely is applying. It's not super vivid though, but where I'm not really used to this kind of tone on the lower lash line, like this pop of purple, I think that's okay. But I will spray the brush and try it wet on the other side just to see the difference. I'll go ahead and spray the brush for the other side. All right, so here's it wet, and then here's what it looks like dry. It definitely did make it more bold and a little bit more metallic and just a little bit more of like just a pop. This one's more subtle, so if you like a pop of color but you don't want it to be too vivid and too vibrant, then you could just use it dry. But I actually do like it wet, so I'm gonna go ahead and even it up on the other side where it was dry. So I'm gonna go back in with that really tiny little crease brush, and I'm gonna go into, let's go into Rockstar, which is that grapey purple. I'm just gonna get a little bit of this on my brush because I really don't want to go too ham with this, and just kind of smudge this right below that, just so it doesn't look too harsh. And then mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my lips. I think I'm gonna go with more of like maybe like a pinky purple in a way. I'm gonna try the Covergirl Exhibitionist lip liner in the shade 210 Paradise Pink. It kind of looks more like almost like a Barbie pink in a way. I don't know if I like this. I'm just trying to mix it up a little bit. And then for lipstick, let's see. I'm testing out the new Covergirl Exhibitionist lipsticks and their entire lip line. let's try $3.95 Darling Kiss. This color just looks really cheap on me. I'm gonna try to deepen it up a little bit with 370 Verve Violet. And let's just kind of go around. Ooh, that does not look like it does down there. I don't know. I'm just gonna put this in the center. I was gonna darken it, but that's... I may try to deepen it up with this shade right here in the shade Euphoria. Let's just see. I don't know how I feel about this. Finally, 3 lipsticks later. We're good. All right, guys, so here is the completed look. So I am pleasantly surprised by the quality, by the blendability. But I will say one thing I forgot to mention earlier about the packaging, just because, like I said, I don't like to harp on the packaging because I don't feel like it's that important. But I will say it is very high quality packaging. It looks very nice. It's very aesthetically pleasing. So if you want to sit this on your vanity or your desk, like wherever you get ready. But also the fact that they have the names of the palettes on the side right here. So if you want to sit it up like this, instead of opening each one up to see which palette it is, it tells you right here. And also in the confetti, it has the color story, like it gives you like a little inkling, like a little hint of which one it is. So like Armed and Gorgeous, which is the more olive green, you know, fall looking one, it has like olive green confetti. With Bling Boss, which is the purple one that we use today, it has purple confetti. Yeah, I'm actually excited now to dig into the other ones. I do feel more relieved and I feel more at ease with the fact that maybe I didn't waste all of my money. So hopefully the other ones perform the way this one did, because I had no blending issues, no unevenness or patchiness or oxidation, nothing. Like the things I was worried about, I didn't experience. So that is it for part 1 of the Vault collection review. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and found it informational and helpful. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell. And when you do that, make sure you comment below #partypeople to let me know that you're part of my Party People squad. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah.